Opposition parties in Malawi have taken that country's electoral commission to court to dispute recent election results. They're also calling for the resignation of the commission's chairperson, Ansah. She is being accused of mismanaging the poll in which President Peter Mutharika won a second term. With us in studio, we've got Mark Botomani. He is the Minister of Communications in Malawi. Good to have you. Welcome to South Africa and welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you very much. Honored to be here.
What brings you to South Africa?
Well, I am here as a government spokesperson to tell a different story, a different narrative, like the one that is being told. In Malawi, we promote peace and stability, and that's where we are at the moment. So I'm here to put up a narrative that is positive, that assuring Malawians living in South Africa and across the world that Malawi is still stable.
Yeah, I mean, we look at what's about to unfold. I alluded to it in the introduction. Opposition parties are taking the Electoral Commission to court, the matter being heard on the 29th of July. How will the outcome affect the situation in Malawi?
Well, the background to it is that Malawians went to polls on the 21st of May 2019, and they voted Professor Peter Mutharika as the leader for the next 5 years. He's the one who was announced by the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Malawi Electoral Commission, as the winner. Now, the opposition parties, they went to court to dispute the presidential vote. Now, you understand that in 2014, we started voting, we adopted the system which is called tripartite elections, where we vote for councillors, members of parliament, and president all at the same time. But surprisingly, when the results came out, they announced the councillors, they announced the members of parliament, and they announced the presidential, the presidential results. It's only the presidential results that are being disputed by the opposition parties. So they went to court, and just as you have put it, the case will start being held on the 29th of July.
But there's huge talk that these votes were rigged, and overwhelming evidence to that as well. We're talking the presidential vote.
Yeah, but you see, you're talking about the evidence. Where is the evidence that the vote, were rigged? The issue is in court at the moment. It is upon the judges to consider. They will consider, they will determine the submissions by both parties to determine whether the votes were rigged or not. But what we know is that, the votes were not rigged because they were, even the international observers from Commonwealth, SADC, and all others, they came up with their reports to say the elections were fair, free, and credible. So the issue of rigging does not come into play.
Yeah, I mean, the amazing thing is that these opposition protests already started before the results were announced in these presidential elections, and they were very, very close. I mean, if we look at the numbers here, Lazarus Chakwera, the opposition party there in Malawi, scored 35.4% of the vote, and of course the President Mutharika, which was declared, got 38.67%. So these protests already started even before the elections were declared.
Yeah, because you see, there is that tradition in Malawi by opposition parties, never to accept the results that are announced by the Malawi Electoral Commission. They didn't start with these elections. Since 1994, the Malawi Congress Party has been disputing elections, 5 elections. This is the 5th. They have been disputing elections. So we are not surprised. And even Malawians, the majority of Malawians are not surprised that, the opposition parties disputed. As a matter of fact, during campaign period, some of the opposition leaders, when they were campaigning, they had already declared themselves winners. In fact, some of them had said that they had already said, we are organizing transport for people to go and witness inauguration, my inauguration. And this is, some of us were surprised that they had already declared themselves winners. Yeah. That is why today they are disputing the elections. And it's not surprising.
Yeah, we look at the fact that the president has already been inaugurated, even though this is heading to court. You've also got your opposition leader, who is also been sworn in as well and has his parliamentary seat. It's quite an interesting political situation that you've got going in Malawi.
It is very surprising because you know what? The Malawi Electoral Commission is the body that is mandated to conduct elections. And they announced, like I said, the members, the councillors, members of parliament, and the president. It is surprising again to say that they are able to accept the parliamentary results and the councillors' results, and they're not accepting the presidential results. The opposition leader himself, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, he has won in his constituency in Lilongwe Northwest, I think. He has won the seat, and he went to parliament to be sworn in, and he's been sworn in as a member of parliament, acknowledging the fact that indeed the elections went well in his constituency. So it is really surprising that they're disputing the presidential vote, where we voted all at the same time.
The reality, however, is that these elections have also caused, and I know that you began by speaking about the fact that Malawi is stable and everything is fine. The problem is that a lot of people have taken to the streets. A lot of communities are not satisfied either. I mean, there have been arrests on the ground and certain instabilities in areas in Malawi. Talk to us a little bit more about that.
Yes, I can agree that there are these protests. But you see, the first thing that you must know there is that the fact that people are on the street demonstrating, the fact that they are holding vigils, you must know that we have one of the most democratic institutions or government in Malawi. So government has allowed them, because that's their constitutional right to dispute on any issue, not just on a political issue or any issue they can demonstrate. And they have assured, and government has assured of security, when they're on the streets. And that's what has been happening. But you see, the problem that is here is that these people are coming on the street under the guise of human rights. They call themselves human rights defenders. But it is actually the political parties that are organizing this, because they are the ones that have told their people to vent their anger against the presidential vote. So how do they vent their anger? Is to go to the streets and start harassing people, destroying people's property, burning people's houses. And that's what has been characterizing this, despite the fact that they said that the demonstrations were going to be peaceful, but they have not been peaceful. So yes, it's a section of people that are demonstrating. It's not majority of Malawians that are demonstrating, because majority of Malawians elected Professor Peter Mutharika as president.
So finally, as we wrap this up, you mentioned that you haven't seen any evidence of vote rigging at all, even though the opposition party are saying that they are going to win this case and that they have got overwhelming evidence and that they will be in power come August. Are you confident that this is going to go away?
No, this is not going to go away. Professor Peter Mutharika won the elections. He took off of office. And, just a week ago, he was inspecting the Guard of Honor to show you that he is the president of the Republic of Malawi. And insofar as we are concerned, he's the president for the next 5 years. We'll see what happens in the court.
Indeed. All right. Yeah. So that's expected on the 29th of July. That's when it's going to be heard. And we'll wait to see the outcome of what happens after the post-elections in Malawi. Mark Botomani is the Minister of Communications from Malawi here in South Africa, talking to us about developments in that country. Let's take a break. After this, we talk books and we talk about what's happening on what happened, I should say, on a very dramatic afternoon on the 15th of November, 1988. Stay tuned for that.